Arsenal 1, Spurs 0. I don't know how Brendan Johnson still starts with Spurs, and he's still played like more or less 90% of the game, despite being absolutely awful. He's got to be the worst signing in Premiership history. At least one of them anyway, up there with Antony and all that lot. But when Antony first came in, you saw like a bit of glimpses from him, because I remember him scoring against Arsenal on his debut when United beat Arsenal 3-1. I think it was in like September, and he scored in his debut. But we've really yet to see any quality whatsoever from Brendan Johnson. Absolutely useless. It just shows today that Spurs didn't really have a plan B. Because once Arsenal scored, they never really looked like getting back into the game, because the football that they were playing was too predictable. Every time they were putting the ball in the box, it was either going to an Arsenal defender or into the hand of David Raya. I don't know what Arsenal's secret is with their defence, really, because they're the only team in the league that looks like defensively secure, like, more or less all the time. Whereas everyone else in the league sort of looks kind of vulnerable at the back. And we've got Arsenal next week. I think we can keep them out in terms of stopping them from scoring. But I'm not sure how we break them down. And that's my worry. Because we didn't score a league goal against Arsenal last season, because it was 1-0 at the Emirates and it was 0-0 at the Etihad. And I think Saliba and Gabriel are the only, like, two centre-backs that have, like, limited Haaland to, like, near enough no clear-cut chances in a game against them. Because even though VVD and, like, players like that, Rudiger, have done well against him, they've never really, like, had a game against him where he's not really had any chances whatsoever. But I think in the 2 games last season, Haaland was very quiet against Arsenal, and he didn't really get any clear-cut chances against them, so that's a bit of a worry. But the thing is, are Arsenal going to learn from their result against City last season when it was 0-0? Because I remember when it was 0-0 at the Etihad last season, they were celebrating it like they got the 3 points and not a draw. But if they want to win the league, in my opinion, they've got to beat City twice. Because I know a lot of people will say that they did well against the top 6 last season and it was their results against the smaller teams that made them not win the league. But you've got to beat your title rival twice when it's City. Because the only time that City have been beaten to the league title was by Liverpool in the 1920 season when they got 99 points. Yes, they didn't beat us twice, but what Liverpool did is that they won like 90% of their matches that season. And it was only when the league was like near enough wrapped up where they started dropping points. So that's what Arsenal either need to do, or they need to beat us twice. They need to either win 90% of their matches or beat us twice, one or the other. And if they do one of those things, at the very least, then they've got a good chance of winning the league. But it's still yet to be seen whether they can do that. I'm interested to see what Arsenal come out as next week, because if they go for the 3 points, then that will show that they've got ambition. But if they come out of a draw and then they end up celebrating, then I definitely know that they've still got a small mentality. Because you expect teams like Crystal Palace, Wolves to be celebrating a draw at the Etihad. You don't expect like teams like Arsenal to be coming to the Etihad and celebrating like they won the game. Because That's a small club mentality when you celebrate draws, regardless of who you're playing. But I don't think that was a great game today, to be honest. It was a good start to the game, but I never felt like it was going to be one of those games where it was going to be goals galore. And I don't think the referee let the game flow. Timber was lucky to still be on the pitch, to be honest, because he grabbed hold of Vicario, and even though the Pedro Porro one was soft, in the modern game it probably is a yellow card. So he probably should have been sent off, really. But that Vicario, I've always said that he's an overrated keeper. He's been a liability ever since he came to the league. From set pieces. And people talk about him like being one of the best keepers in the league, up there with Edison, Alisson, Raya, etc. But he's just nowhere near on their level. He's a good distributor of the ball, but as an actual goalkeeper, he's bang average. And I've said that for a while. But the thing is with Spurs, they're playing well. It's just that they can't seem to put the ball in the back of the net. Because they're the better side against Newcastle away, but they gave away 2 stupid goals. And today, like when they went behind, they just had no game plan whatsoever, and they were playing too predictable football. So the thing that I find that Ange has is either he makes it too easy for the opponents to score, like with that high line, because that high line gets done by any team that has pace. And if he doesn't play the high line, whenever they go behind, he plays a style of play that's just too predictable. He's a good manager, Postecoglou, but I just think that they don't really have as many players as what they need to get the best out of the style that he wants to play. Because I don't think they've really had that many bad performances this season. It's just that scoring goals is becoming a real problem for them. And it's reminding me of the days when they had Jose Mourinho, where they were struggling to score goals when he was their manager as well. So we'll have to wait and see if they can fix that out. And thanks for watching this video. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll speak to you all soon.